We have talked about this before, but I need to bring it up again. The cash versus credit conversation. Essentially, you need good credit and you need cash. You need both. It's not one or the other. And this is something I have been preaching for the last decade. You need cash. I'm going to tell you, back in my early storage auction days before I learned the game, I was renting an apartment. You know what I had to show them to get into that apartment? It was a nice complex. I had to show them bank statements. I showed them 6 months of bank statements where I had well over $10,000 in the account, and that was the basis that they gave me the checking the apartment. That was all that I needed. A lot of people don't understand that cash money in the bank is an asset which can give you more credit. Right now, in these United States of America, there are people who don't even have a FICO score but own an apartment building because of the culture of sharing money amongst their members, where they got a pot of money. It was their turn, and they took that money and paid cash for an apartment building. They don't even have a credit score. They got an apartment building, they got a Benz, all paid for. America has this weird addiction to vanity credit. Hey, Chase just gave me a credit card with a $30,000 limit. They think I'm the best person ever. They think I'm that man or that chick. Part of this navigating this system is you need to have a firm financial understanding. You need to understand what works and what doesn't. So for those of you who need help with your financial education, go here, get Money Management, the Basics of Finance and Wealth Development. This includes the 5 checking account blueprint, and we're going to talk about that. The average American has a money management problem versus an income problem. They don't know how to manage their money correctly. And this is the basis for much misery. This is the reason people are doing payday loans, like rent to own. That was so crazy to me. If you had the financial discipline to put $30 away every month, in a year or less, you'll be able to pay cash for a washer and dryer. Many people don't understand how to manage money. So you don't have a job. There's no reason for your credit score to tank. You shouldn't have anything on your credit cards. One of the best ways to get a high credit score is to rarely use your credit. You need credit because many people use credit indicators to get you a job, for your car insurance. Credit has become a very important standard for many things. So to be clear, you need cash. Everybody should have 10 to 15 to 20K in the bank. Everybody. If you're a parent, and I said this before and a lot of people push back on it, if you're a parent and you don't have 10 to 15K cash in the bank, you are a negligent parent. This is because $10 to $15,000 tucked away in the bank account is going to solve so many problems. Also, let's have the conversation about low income. If you make less than $65,000 a year, you make low income. And if you make low income, you should not be financing cars. You should save up and pay cash for a car. And once again, today you could get some older cars that will be amazing for 5,000, for 8,000, for $10,000. You can get yourself a very nice car, dependable. It just won't be it won't be a new model, but you can get that. I've been a firm believer in paying cash for cars for a long time. And, you know, once again, you make six figures, you got car notes, that's crazy. If you're making six figures, there is no reason you should have a car note unless it's a lease for your business. That's the only way. What's up, Richard Mayfield? Agent J. Poole? John Smith, I'm doing better. Tim A, what's up? Tim A had to show bill statements to get a credit card. Warren Buffett's company works because the public invests in Warren. People buy shares of Berkshire Hathaway. What do you mean, how does this company work? It works very well. But we're going to talk about you. The average citizen in America is of low income. You should not have a car payment. You should be living within your means. Here on Facebook and other places, there's like, would you rather have an 850 credit score or $200,000 or $300,000? I wasn't amazed, but the answers illustrate how little people know about money. Do you know if you got $300,000 in the bank, that acts as a credit reference for you and your business? You want to know why? Because most people don't have $10,000 in the bank. Most people only have 300K. You got 300K in the bank? That's a credit reference. It's a really good credit reference. All right, let's talk about improving, as Erica Williams says, many people's personal credit is in the dumpster fire. You should work on your personal credit and get it where it needs to be before you embark on building business credit, because that's going to facilitate you getting business credit, because they're going to go off of your personal credit FICO score. If you want to really ramp up business credit very quickly, this is how you do it. You get your personal credit to where you have a 680 to a 740, preferably 7 something, 720, 735. 725, you can get pretty much any credit card. You can get a mortgage, whatever. So that's where you want to get your credit. And if you have a protracted situation where maybe you have a lot of medical bills and stuff that you cannot clean up very quickly, you can start on building your business credit, but that's going to take about a year or two. Many people don't understand, because a lot of people are out there attempting to get credit as an extension of income versus making the money. Right now, I think I owe $1,500 on my American Express, which I may just go ahead and pay off today. At any point, whatever I have on my credit cards, I have cash money in the bank that I could pay this off. That's where you want to be. You want to use credit as a convenience, as an extension, or in my case, I use it to get points. A big part of the American experience is rooted in credit. There is no other place on the planet like this. This is why people who come from other countries have a different mindset about credit, the application of credit. Many Hispanic families, many Caribbean families, they have these money sharing clubs. So they'll get X amount of people, maybe 20 people, and every month these people contribute money into the pie. One person keeps the money. Once they get to 10, 15, 20K, then a member of the group is given the money. This ain't a loan. It's like, boom, it's your turn, here's your 20 grand. And this is how immigrants get cars, houses, and apartment buildings and businesses without a FICO score. They get the things that will enhance your FICO score without going through the ground process of getting a FICO score. This little rapper, Lil Duval, he's an immigrant. You gotta understand, he's the first generation Bahamian. I disagree with some of his sentiments, but in many regards, he's correct. You got low income, you don't need a new car with car payments. When you factor in the car payment, the car insurance, the gas, there are many people who are paying half of their income for one car, which is a depreciating asset. Rob Marsh, you mean a Susu? Yes. Pick 3 World, thanks for the $10 super chat. I used to see this all of the time with the Hispanics who would shop in my thrift store. A guy would come here, he'd be fresh off the boat, fresh across the desert, whatever way he got here. And within 5 years, this guy will live with a bunch of people, save up most of his money, and one day he'll come up with his wife and 2 and 3 kids in a brand new F-250, a $50,000 truck. He had no credit, he had to pay cash for it, and he started a business. I saw this over and over again. Tommy Brown, I'm from Miami. My grandma used to do this thing called a suit money. Helped a lot of people out of, definitely. Rob Marsh would do this in Brooklyn. Immigrants have been doing this since they've arrived here, and many people feel because immigrants can be extremely successful that somehow the government's just handing these folks money, and that's just simply not true. They have a certain level of financial literacy. We're dealing in cash money. We get cash money, we spend cash money, we build up our things, we get things going. And typically it's a trusted member who holds on to the money. This is why Mexicans have home invasions, because these other Mexicans know there could be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100K in their house. They know this. This is why they have these home invasions. This is why these things go down, because they know that these people are sitting on a lot of cash. Both. You need both. You need cash and you need good credit. There are things that you need good credit for that have nothing to do with getting a loan. There are certain jobs, unless you have a good credit score, you can't get hired for that job. So you need both. What's up, Johnny Walden? So let me give you the situation. Let's say you're the average low income American, and if you make under $65,000 a year, you're low income. You need cash more so than credit, because the 65 or less, what you're going to do is utilize all of your economic bullets, which are your dollars, to the point of getting stuff, getting cars, getting televisions, where you have no more economic bullets to invest in things that throw off a dividend. You invest in a business, business throws off cash. You invest in a rental house, it throws off cash. You invest in stocks and bonds with a dividend, they throw off cash. But because you're so strapped, you don't have any money to get into this. And for once again, for the people who don't know how to manage their money, get the money management, the basics of finance and wealth development. You need this. You need it. You need it. You need it. Because let's say where a person is. If you're an average low income American, you need 10, 15, $20,000 cash money in the bank. You need paid off cars. You don't need any car notes, and you need good credit. You need all that as a low income American. Once you cross over into becoming financially literate and you become a full economic citizen, where you become a producer, where you're doing something that gets you money, then the game changes a little bit. Like, I got this house with bank statements. That's what I got this house with. That's what flipped the deal. I remember I was in the storage auction business, and this was before I got my first, well, my second or third house. And I had to rent an apartment, and I didn't feel like lying. And I wasn't paying myself through ADP where I would get the W-2s where I could throw them some pay stubs. I wasn't doing that. So I just went ahead and gathered 6 months of bank statements and turned that in with my application. The lady called me back that day and said, "Mr. Cameron, you're approved." It was my cash in the bank that was my credit reference. Because, I didn't have bad credit, but I didn't have a lot. I just didn't have a lot of credit. I didn't, because I was a cash and carry kind of guy. But the way the system works, you need to have good credit and you need to have cash. And you need to know when to use them. Because part of the reason the average person cannot get wealthy in America is because of their personal creature comforts. What they want, what they need in their life, that car, that television, that new computer, all of that stuff keeps them from having money to invest into things that make money. That's what causes that problem. What's up, Silver New Jack? Search apartments you can get without good credit. If you got cash, you can get in any apartment. Pick 3 World. I just started a mobile detailing business, getting to the cash. Everyone needs their car washed. Thanks for continued motivation. I use my no PG Sam's card to get most of the supplies. Cool. I'm working on a digital comic book store. Do I need an LLC or a holding company? You need both if you're going to be serious. Saying that starting up this online side hustle to build my cash up and stockpile it. I just wish I knew some cheaper or free ways to get traffic to my site and reach potential customers. The internet has become a paid highway. One of the things that you got to do is stop wishing that you can find some cheaper traffic. You can get a lot of organic traffic on LinkedIn, not so much on Facebook. You got to play the game. You don't hate the player, don't hate the game. Learn the rules so you can win. So you're gonna have to start paying for some traffic. All right, Michael Brown. So let's talk about the stages. Let's say you're a young man. You have no wife, no children. This is the best position that you can be in. You clean. You have no obligations. This is the time that you set up some stuff in your life. We have Arden Bolton who's doing this. He saves like $1,200 cash money per month. He doesn't have a car note, and he lives by himself. That's going to give him the foundation for wealth in the future. This is where you need to be, because essentially what people do, and this is something that I noticed when I was in the military, when I bought my first car, I went from always having money to not having any money because my car payment was like $289, my insurance was $150. I didn't realize that a check and part of another check went to maintaining my car, and that's why I went from always having money to not having money. Paris Kingdom. Yes, you can have many holding companies you want. See, the thing is, let's talk about the holding company structure. You got to go out and shake some trees and make some cash. You got to make some moves. You got to make some things that make money. You got to make some stuff happen. You got to get into, because everybody wants to look at the structure, but people are not paying attention to the process. The process is you got to get some things that make money. And also, internet businesses through sweat equity can be built for little to no money. This YouTube channel, I started it with $250, and that was to get my internet and domain name. That's most of the money went there. I did not reinvest into the company for almost 2 years. Then I got another LLC, Conundrum Publishing, which I have actually shut down. You can start, but the thing is, you got to work. You got to produce content. That's one of the things with an internet business. You've got to be able to produce a ton of content. That's what makes an internet business work. The more content you can produce, the more money you can make. All right, saying this, 21. Yeah, because one of the things that happens is people go out and get commitments before they build a solid business. Getting married, having kids, that's 2 commitments. And as someone who's been in that position, when you marry a woman, she's looking at you as being financially dependable, which means a lot of your personal ambition must go out the window. You can't be taking risky shots that you can take like when you're single. When you're single, you can do whatever. C.C. Morgan, I just inherited a house. I already own one. Wondering if I should sell it as keep or as a rental. Let's look at this, C.C. Sorry for the person that passed. How much can you rent this house out for? Is the question I would ask you. And why would you sell it? My thoughts on real estate is hold. Because you just got this house that you didn't have to pay anything for. So if you can get whatever you think you can rent it out as, and maybe if your house, you can get the most rent money for it, you move out of your house and move into the inherited house. We need some numbers here. See, we need some more information in CC's case, because I see someone that's like take the equity out to fund whatever. She already has a house. I want you to understand, having an asset that is paid off free and clear is a very powerful position to be in. So whatever, once we get these numbers in here, we would give her some more information, because we need more information. Because once again, people ask questions and they're like, CC, the rental income in the area is around 1,400. We still owe 80, and the house is worth 180,000. So the house that you inherited still has a mortgage on it. It's not free and clear. CC, let's look at that. Erica Williams is never sell to spend the money to shine up the bathroom and kitchen to make money forever. I agree. Having an asset that is paid off is very powerful. All right, so this house, it does or it doesn't have a mortgage, the house that's inherited. Because this is what I would do if I was you. Since you have a house and you have this new house, whichever house you get the most money for, I would rent that and move into the inherited house. Whichever house you can get the most money for, that's the one I would rent. And then what I would do is take the money, the rental money, and pay off the house with the note. Nope, not free and clear. All right, then take the rental money to pay that house off. All right, so you can cash flow at almost $400. I would rent that bad boy out. I would not sell it. Yeah, as a young man, this is one of the things that young people don't understand. When you are a young person who is free and clear, that is such a powerful position. And because you maybe get a little lonely or you don't know how to emotionally handle stuff, you go out and get into a relationship. I don't believe in struggle love. I believe that everybody needs to get their stuff together on their own before they get into a relationship. Yeah, I would not sell that bad boy, because $400 a month cash flow is pretty significant. So in your situation, that's what I would do. Whichever house I can get the most money for is the one I would rent out, and then I would move into the house that I couldn't get. And I would take the rental income and I would take all of it and put it toward paying down those mortgages. CC makes sense. My husband wants to take the money and run. He says it would take years to get the equity now. See, this is one of the things. Going through this cash versus credit thing. Right now, your husband's eyes are all big, and all he sees is if we can sell it and we can get this lump sum of cash. But how much of a lump sum of cash can you get, since this house already still has a note on it? Because if you cash flow it, $400 per month, that's almost $5,000 a year. That's significant side income. Because see, what would be the rationale for selling this house and getting that lump sum of cash? What's going to happen with that lump sum of cash? See, this is why the 5 checking account blueprint is so powerful. First of all, it's going to teach you how to get to a point where you have a large sum of money in the bank that you created from your own efforts. See, mentally, when people are dealing with money, there is a transformation that must happen. If you are a person that just, get some money, I got some money, I got to spend, I got all these desires and stuff, you got to change from that kind of person. You gotta get out of that, because basically, you're in the point where this house can be the start of your real estate empire. CC, because one of the things is, once you get into real estate, you can only get so many houses on your personal income. Unless you got like a really high income, like you make $1 million a year, yeah, you could probably get mortgages for 10, 15 houses. But the average person doesn't make that kind of money, so you get into creative financing. Once you get into real estate, there are investors in real estate. Once they understand that you have a track record, they will loan you money, 10 points, 12 points, because that's more money than they can get just sitting on it. And that's how these people end up having 10, 15, 20, 30 houses in 1 year. They're using private money. Let's see. The banks are all not going to fall. Stop worrying about stuff that's just not going to happen. Chase Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they're not going to fall. Maybe some of these smaller community banks. Whoa! All right. See, we're getting this is what I'm talking about. Some meat. Thank you for this information. The house is actually at 6.125 and has never been refinanced. Should I refinance it? Yes. Let's see. What are the current mortgages? Current mortgage rates. You go ahead and refinance. Let's see. What are today's rates? Oh man, some of these rates are three. Oh, you can almost cut that in half, which would then drastically increase your cash flow. Uh, I would do a refinance. I would not take any money out of the house. I would just do a regular refinance to lower the rates, to lower your monthly payment, so your cash flow higher. Because if you take out the money out of the house, then you reset the 30-year clock, and you may and I would refinance at a 15-year. Best of luck. So I have a single family in College Town that just paid off. I'm just worried about finding good tenants before the fall. Louis the Seller, what's up? I have a great opportunity to buy my grandparents' house in Puerto Rico for cheap. It's currently a rental property. Good move. Absolutely. I would take that house in Puerto Rico and Airbnb it. What's up, King? Yeah, and see, like, this is the kind of stuff, with CC's example. Once we get into having a real conversation, because it's got a 6.1, man. And got a question for you, CC. How long at the current 6.1 rate would it be before the house is paid off? What's up, Troy? Because It's these little moves because everyone thinks that you're going to get rich quick. The process of being financially free is a process that takes time. And a lot of people don't understand that. It takes time to become financially free. It takes time because, like Cece, she's got this one house. This could be the foundation brick into her starting a multi-million dollar real estate empire. This one house. Everything, because before you make your first million, you got to make your first thousand. And before you make your first thousand, you got to make your first dollar. And a lot of people are trying to get ahead of themselves. All right. So it's half paid off. Okay. So to keep that schedule, I would refinance, not take any money out, keeping the equity in that house, and I would refinance at a 15-year note. So it'll still be paid off on schedule, or actually a little bit before, a little bit later. So that's what I would do and turn that bad boy into a rental. What's up, Erica? Sadly, people get lump sum drunk. Folks just want to get a lump sum so bad, but keep payments over time is the win. Yeah, because this is why I asked the question: what's going to happen with the lump sum money? Because if you're going to take this money and just filter it away and do some silly stuff, because I would have to look at their whole financial picture. Because let's say they have a lot of debt, maybe the lump sum would make sense, get a renter in to pay off the house, but maybe it doesn't, because this is, once again, there's a lot of questions to have to ask. What's up, Larod King? A series of good. That's it, Ben. A series of good financial decisions over time. CC, wow, thanks so much. This is much information. I was so confused. So much. I'm definitely taking your courses as I'm looking to get onto the real estate. I will show this to my husband. Yeah, because the thing is, this one piece of property can begin the whole chain. And essentially, if you were going to take equity out of the house and put it into like a duplex and pay then that makes sense. Once again, just taking the money out to have a lump sum with no plan, no direction is just the wrong way to go at it. But this one house can start your real estate empire easily. So you and your husband need to sit down and kind of look at your overall financial picture. Do you have car payments? Do you have credit card debt? You need to look at that, and you need to come up with a plan how to address that. Because one of the things that people don't understand is before you start investing, you should be debt free. It is very hard to be an investor loaded down with a lot of debt, because a lot of your economic bullets, your dollars, are going to service this debt that could go into your investments. Anyone that, once you get a good understanding of financial literacy, anyone will tell you before you start investing in the stock market, before you get into real estate, you need to be debt free. So that's a big part of how to free yourself from the matrix. So that's a pretty good plan, CC. Just depending on, because you and your husband got to sit down, look at all of your, obligations. What do you got to pay? And you got to add that up, because hopefully, you're watching this channel, you don't have a lot of debt, because this one house can really bring many, many different rewards. Because once again, America's drunk on credit. I don't have a problem with you using credit to buy a house, or using your credit to get inventory, or using your credit to market your business. I don't have a problem with that. To me, that's a good use of credit. That's where I and Dave Ramsey differ. But taking your credit to buy foolish things, I have a problem with that. Charlisa, that's in the Art of Holding, which you can get that under the links to that's under the video. Yeah, I'll talk about a lot of that stuff. Uh, Part of, and you got to look at your income. You got to look at, there's so many moves. And this house is such a windfall for you and your husband if utilized and done correctly. You can see some serious economic gains from this in the matter of months. Oh, you got to be debt free. Last time that I was in a lot of debt was when I was in the storage auction business because I foolishly took out a SBA loan. That's the last time I was in a bunch of debt. Currently, I'm, let's see how much I owe on this. I can tell you what I can tell you what my debt load is right now. Log in. I currently owe American Express 2,300, 2,400 bucks, and then my medical bills. But I don't really count that as debt. Start paying those on those the other day because there's a lot of duplication. People will send you some stuff, then they'll send you something else. It's a lot to go with that, but as my credit card debt stands, it's 2,300 bucks, which I can pay off right now. Be sure to get the 5 checking account deal. From BRRRR to IRR, inherit, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. Herbert Scott is a former wholesale probate. As a former wholesaler, probate inherited property was my bread and butter. Most simply didn't have the fortitude to cash flow. Wow. Well, this is, I have some insights on this because typically when someone passes on and there's a piece of property that's paid off, people just see, as Erica said, that lump sum itis. I remember buying the contents of houses that if these folks had slowed down, they could have made way more money if they had sold it themselves. So they were just like, we want this stuff out of here. We want these antiques out of here so we could sell this puppy and get that lump sum. Because typically, because one of the things is this in August, September, I'm going to get my my first piece of rental property in a long time, and I'm going to pay cash for it. So that's one of the reasons I'm up on this real estate game because I have mentors who self-fund their own purchases, and this is what I'm learning. Anthony, you got charged for this. Daryl Finney, yeah, personally feel I had to get rid of the debt over my head before anything. Now, hopefully, finding these tenants. Tenants won't be a problem. You just put up a sign. If you're in a good area, that won't be a problem. You hear people talk about nightmare tenants. Essentially, this is how you screen a tenant. You call them, and what you do, whatever address they told you they used to live at, you do a Google search to find out who owns it. And if the same person who owns the house from the Google search owns it that they told you to call, that's a pretty good look. But, cash versus credit is really not a question. You want both. All right, CC Moore, thank God, no car payment, no credit cards, only the house which we purchased and it went under. Right now, there's no equity in the house we live in. It's worth as much as we owe. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to refinance the inherited house, 15-year mortgage, so you do a higher cash flow because you can rent that house out for 1,400. You refinance, you should be able to cash flow at $600 to $700. That's a lot of money. Uh, Using your credit cards. Oh, the house you inherited in Powder Springs. Oh, you around here? Yeah, there's a lot of that. That will be easy to rent out there. JCHC just set up the 5 checking accounts early this week. Major pushback from the wife at first, but she eventually admitted it's probably a good idea and she can see how it can be helpful. People don't people don't want to be responsible. Yes, you got to have both cash and credit. Yeah, like $700 a month in the real estate game. That is strong. That's it's $8,000 a year. And what I would do was take that money and I would put it in a special account. I wouldn't touch it. I would put it in the account for repairs and stuff. You know, you're going to have to pay taxes on the house. So that's where I would put that in there. Yeah, there's a big resistance because a lot of the financial intervention for poor people is to put your money to automate it, to have this money automatically come out your checking account, which could be good advice, but I think you should have a more mindful approach and a more intentional and deliberate. You should look at what you're doing, where you're going. What's up? I'm Mark. Appreciate you. Because the thing is with real estate, you hear using other people's money, which makes your cash flow position weaker. If you can get in a position where your first real estate property, let's say you buy a 60 to $80,000 duplex, and you pay cash, and that's very doable because we got people out here driving 50, 60, 70, $100,000 cars, and they're on the 84-month car payment plan, and they're able to do that. So think about this: if you were to put that kind of money away to get you a good duplex and pay cash, you go in a very strong position because you go ahead and you pay cash, you get a tenant. This cash isn't going to pay a mortgage. So you keep the saving habit up and you take this additional income and you put it in an account and you get another piece of property. Kama Vuma. I come from Africa with no debt. They wanted us to have a credit card so that we can be in the system, or else I can't buy a house. What should I do to build my credit to afford to buy a house? Um, Essentially, if you're going to get a mortgage, you're going to have to build your credit profile, or you have you're going to start a business and make more money and pay cash. It just depends. Typically, for an immigrant coming to America, it only takes 18 months to build a credit profile. Yeah, Florida, I was surprised because I was looking at Florida some real estate, and I was amazed that for 120K you could get this 4-bedroom house with a pool. I was like, the income must not be that high in Florida. Darren Finney, I'm going to look into looking at these 5 checking accounts. Yeah, you should definitely go here. The link's under the video. Money management, the basics of finance and wealth development. You'll get the 5 checking accounts. You get the philosophy, because here's the problem that happens to many entrepreneurs who go off and start a side business. They'll start the side business and it will start doing well. And then the money, because we had some people here who had side business. One guy, his money from income business, side business went to paying daycare. Another guy, the money gets incorporated in bills. So you don't have the ability to let that money collect and stack up because it's going toward bills. 5 checking account will liberate you from all of that. All right, CC Morgan, what about putting the houses in the trust? This is a good thing to do if you have kids. Um, you can put that house with a note in a trust, but the thing is, before you start doing trust, you need to have a long-term perspective. What do you plan on doing? What's your plan? What's your written plan for creating this trust? And the thing is too, once you if you establish a irrevocable trust in this house is in this trust, you can't do anything else. So your hands are tied. If you do a revocable trust, you can add more stuff into it, but it becomes a little bit more complex. So sit down with your husband and create a roadmap. Like, okay, if you guys want to have 10 houses and you get these 10 houses and you get them all paid off, then you can put those 10 houses in a irrevocable trust for your kids, where every month they pay these tenants, write their check out to that trust, and every month your kids get a dividend. So that's how the trusts work. D Mayor, hello, I'm 26, I make 100K a year, congratulations. I make a huge car mistake, got a car note. I owe 13,000 in credit card debt, almost 4 cars. With your income, you should get a really rigorous budget. You should pay that car off, and you should pay those credit cards off. At 100K, you should be able to do all this in a year. MGN, that's up five accounts years ago. Also paid off a car in 1 year instead of making payments for 70 months. My hubby didn't like it, but now he's starting to get it. Why he didn't like it? However, despite all that, I'm still making enough to save about 2,000 a month. Should I pour all? Yeah, you should get rid of all that debt, because look at what you would be able to save if you didn't have that debt. You might be able to save 4K a month, which is strong. I think I would live in the same rental property as my tenants, my own apartment, to save money about another rental property. Just have to convince the boss. Darren Fane, next property I would get it to be under an LLC. Yeah, because with the real estate companies, they give you so many perks because, to Cece's case, she has this house. She now also has something that can cash flow and also has deductions. She can depreciate that house for 27 and a half years, meaning she will probably pay no taxes or very little taxes on the cash that comes in. It's a beautiful thing. Just go to the internet, because let's talk about trust. Everybody wants to get a trust. Until you get paid off assets, a trust can be hard to manage. You could put a house with a note on into a trust. I would think that would be foolish. You need assets that are paid off to play the trust game. Just saying. Because typically, you need seasoned assets. You need rental property or businesses that are up and running, that have predictable revenue. You put that in the trust. Putting new things in the trust, these things may peter out. Like my landlord, he had 30 buildings in this trust. I used to make my rent check out to the trust because the trust owned the buildings. So the trust got all the deductions, the trust got the cash flow. I mean, it was a beautiful situation. But he had paid off assets. I know the typical American way is to uh, get stuff as, to shape some stuff up or to do stuff on the fly. You don't want to do that with trust. It's going to be very hard to make money from 58 subs. You need more. You need way more. So, this is what we're talking about today. Credit versus cash. There is no battle. You need both. And depending on where you are in life, if you're a young person, you're going to definitely need the cash. You're going to need 10, 15, 20K in the savings account. And you're going to need good credit. But here's the thing. If you can manage to save 10, 15, 20K, more likely you're going to have good credit. Charlisa Thomas. So how does he get access to his money if all the income goes into the trust? When you set up a trust, you can designate where the money goes. It's all in how you set it up. Hey Jen, he thought we need to save the money. I explained it's pointless to save at 1% interest and have car payments at, yeah, you saved yourself 6%. Definitely. D. Grant, thanks for the $10 super chat. I will be inheriting my grandmother's house close by downtown Atlanta. It's pretty old and has just one bathroom. Should I sell the property or hold on to the value goes up? I'm 28. Here's my thought on real estate. If you can inherit real estate, never sell it and hold it. Because, depending on what kind of condition it's in, maybe you have to do some cosmetic rehab to raise the value. Rent that bad boy out. I mean, you're getting a gift. King Daniel, I'm 25. Last time I checked, my credit dropped from 716 to 684. Yeah, you want to definitely pay that on. The savings account is back to where it was. Yeah, you need cash and credit. It's not a one or the other thing. Oh, New York gentrification. Apparently, the fastest way to pay off a 3-family house is to convert it to a 10-family house. You got people doing whatever they can do, man. But if you're a low income person making under 65,000, you don't need a car payment. You should get you a car that you have the ability to pay cash off. Yeah, because the thing is, you get that real estate. It can be the beginning of something beautiful if appropriately handled. Because, I mean, like in Cece's case, it's like someone just gave her $100,000. Boom, here he is, free and clear. You just got to do a little extra legwork. 89 Dr. Von Glendon, if you had $8,000 in debt and 10K in cash, would you pay off the debt with just 10K or just sit on it? Just curious on your thoughts. What I would do, and I've been in this situation, is I would make more money. I would keep my $10,000 and I would start a star hustle. I would do some Craigslist stuff and throw it at this debt. Cash in hand is an important thing. What's up, Speed 88? Cash in hand is very important. And also with the mindsets is I wouldn't get into 8K of debt, a foolish debt. Let's say if I was getting into debt, and let's say I borrowed a 250K to buy a business. To me, that's considered good debt. You're buying something that you know makes money. That's good debt. You should use your debt power to buy things that appreciate, that throw off cash versus just buying things. This is why I pay cash for my cars. I've got some very expensive cars I pay cash for. I remember the last one, the guy at the dealership, he did the mannequin challenge when I was like, would you take 6,000 off if I pay cash today? He was blown away. He's like, he said that's only happened 2 times in 12 years. So this is some of the stuff that you can do, because every great financial plan begins with good decisions. If your income is low, you need to be working on getting it high as possible. That is part of the plan. That is part of the situation. And you need these 5 checking accounts, because once you start to maximize and optimize the money that you have coming in, when you start to make additional money, you're going to get really excited, because you're going to be able to see it stack. I don't know if anyone who's ever saved up a lot of money, but once you get to a certain level and it becomes almost like a game, it's like, how much money can I throw in this to make it grow? And then you have a plan for that money, because you can't, you can let the money sit in the bank a year, maybe 2. Other than that, you start to lose money because of inflation. But you should have, because the primary emergency fund should be in the money market account. And 10, 15, 20K, that will give you such an attitude, because there's so many things can happen with that. Yeah, because once you get your credit cards paid off, you can save more money. Like the month after you pay off your credit cards, then whatever you're using to pay off your credit cards, you can now add that money to your savings rate. All right, hopefully this cleared up the conversation of cash versus credit. You need both. You should use every tool in your economic arsenal to get free. Once again, I am not a student of Dave Ramsey. I believe in credit, using credit to buy assets that produce cash, to fund businesses, to do marketing. All right. So, one more again. Everyone who hasn't purchased the money management, the basics of financial wealth development, go ahead and do so today, and then get off onto some of these hustle courses that are listed below the video, because these are the 2 rules. Manage the money that you currently make to the best of your ability. Manage the death out of it. Then once you get that under wraps, go out and make more money. This is the quickest path to economic freedom that there is. I mean, that's the game. That's how it works. The most I had in the bank was 12K, got married and divorced. Woo! Once again, man, those obligations, those obligations. All right, CC Morgan. Yeah, you're in a good position there. You're in a really good position, because you can get that piece of property cash flow at 600 or 700 or maybe even 800 a month. That's some killer money. Once again, annuities could be great if you have the money. If you had $100,000 annuity, right? $100,000 today, and you bought an annuity. If you had the ability to wait for 15 years, it'll pay you $100,000 the rest of your life. But the thing is, most people don't have the cash up front. So getting an annuity for $2,500, that ain't gonna really be. That could possibly be helpful. All right, Tim A, you're in a good place now. All right. So that's the end of today's topic. I will see you guys